Welcome to Iceland. My name is Gylfi, and this video covers all you need to know about the best time of year to visit my country. And I'm approaching the topic from the fact that most visitors come to enjoy our nature. But first, we need to talk about some of the basics, starting with the Icelandic climate, which has some serious quirks. And the seasons don't explain our climate at all, since they can easily overlap from time to time. So to make this as realistic as possible, we need to talk about regions as well, in order to adjust your expectations toward reality. And these numbers are actually reality, the traffic volume through the Keflavík International Airport, which reflects the pressure on major tourist attractions and prices, up to a certain extent. But the perfect tour to Iceland is way more complicated than these numbers indicate. So this map is all about climate. It tells us a bit about the temperature difference between regions, which can be a big deal when it comes to questions like, when does the summer start? And in general, it's warmest in the south. And we can expect that the north and the east is 1 or 2 weeks behind when it comes to vegetation and colors in the spring. And the Westfjords, they are on their own, and they can easily be 2 or 3 weeks behind the south when it comes to spring and summer arrival. And Icelandic climate control is in a way like a shuffle button gone wild. So if you are looking for some particular scenery, autumn colors, or the early summer greens, do not plan around the seasons alone, or as they are officially defined. And rule number 1 is that there are no rules. So let's do the months one by one. And I'm starting in June, because that's when the Icelandic summer starts officially. And it is at this time of year when seasonal tourism businesses have fully opened, with some actually opening in May, so you can expect full services all around the country. But don't expect the summer to be here. But what I like about June as a travel month is the fact that the greens are fresh, and the yellow colors are popping like the blue colors with the lupine, and they don't last for long. So don't expect all the color show to last into July. And my favorite time is the weeks before and after the summer solstice. It's the time of magic, when nighttime driving during the endless golden hour is like nothing else, while most tourists are actually sleeping. And the only drawback with June has to do with the highland roads. If the spring was cold, they won't open until late June, and in some cases July, like now in 2026. So I advise you to use the website road.is, where you can see the roads open one by one. And my advice for those who want to do the highlands is to wait until July or even August. And July is often the warmest month of the year. It's the time when the summer festivals and the town festivals start, for the simple reason that it is our safest bet when it comes to weather. Simple as that. And the nights are still bright in the first half of July. And shortly thereafter we need to go looking for our camping lights again. And I need to talk about the last days of July and the first week of August in terms of traffic volume and more. The weekend before the first Monday of August is a long weekend, since that Monday is a public holiday. The roads were overloaded, the accident rate became too high, so town festivals are now spread over a longer period of time. They are not as large in general, but there are more of them. And they go on until mid-August usually. But this first August weekend is still very busy, and it's good to know that it's not a good time to visit the Westman Islands, unless you want 5,000 drunken teens around. But the basic Icelandic town festivals are, however, a good way to get to know the Icelandic culture, because they are in general not set up as tourist gigs. It's just Iceland as is, and all are welcome. Despite the fact that August is getting slightly colder, it is definitely an excellent travel month. All highland roads will be open, and the late-blooming highland vegetation looks as good as it gets. The nights are quite dark in August, but not dark enough for serious northern light photography, although you might be able to see them, but you won't get the best of them, especially when it comes to photography. And September is perhaps the most underrated month because the elements become more unstable, the surprise elements go into overdrive, making this month fantastic for time-lapse photography. But the first half of September is, however, not providing the best light. It is, however, the time when the farmers round up the sheep and later the horses, and such scenarios can be fantastic photo ops. Although I need to warn you that not all such gatherings welcome tourists. In some cases, there is simply no room for spectators, so always seek local information if you plan to see the roundups. And the photography trade secret for September is simple. The best light can often be found between September 15th and October 15th. That's when the sun's angle is as good as it gets. It's dark enough for northern light hunting, so it's a fantastic time to be moving around. And this is a transformation period that can be extremely rewarding, although it involves risks like rain and perhaps more rain and even snowy mountaintops. But many of the highland roads will be open in September, depending on how early we get the first snow. Early October is usually the best time to capture full autumn colors before we wake up with something like this. And it only takes one cold night to spoil the fun. And then we see the shift after October 15th that is obvious in terms of light. And although we don't look at October as a winter month, anything can happen as we get closer to November. And that's when winter starts for real, which brings us back to the temperature map. The South enjoys milder winter and way less snow than elsewhere, but instead they tend to get lots of rain. And I say for myself that I really don't like how much it rains in Reykjavik over the winter. In my opinion, winters should be winters, even if it means snow. November is of course a wonderful time for northern light photography. It will be easy to find snowy backgrounds by then, if we have the flexibility to go chasing backgrounds. But those who are mainly thinking of sightseeing tours, all such activities will have serious limitations after mid-November due to how short the days have become. So early November is our last chance to do some serious daylight photography for a while. And we see another season shift in the last week of November. And it has more to do with culture than weather because Icelanders are quite aggressive when it comes to Christmas decorations. And most of them will be up and running by early December. Iceland has Christmas markets, of course, and although they are not large, they offer a good opportunity to buy Icelandic crafts and designs that you won't find in stores. And going to a Christmas buffet is a very important part of our Christmas preparations. And it offers tourists the chance to try almost the entire Icelandic food culture. And almost every restaurant in the country offers its own buffet version, which makes December the biggest and most important month of the year in the restaurant industry. More important than the tourist months, actually. And Icelandic breweries are also having a field day in December. They all come out with a new beer, which is a relatively new tradition that has in a way shaped into a little competition. So December is a month when our food culture offers it all. And Iceland is becoming increasingly popular as a holiday destination, so there is a spike in demand over the holidays and especially over the New Year, where one of the main attractions is, of course, the annual fireworks show. And not all are aware of the fact that this is the main source of income for our search and rescue teams. They sell most of the fireworks, which is the perfect excuse for grown-up kids to have a great time because it's all for the greater good. So low-light photography and the general Christmas mood is getting more and more attention. And it took the tourism industry actually a while to adapt, since not so long ago, everything was closed over the Christmas. But as for the capital region and the larger towns like Akureyri, finding services this time of year is no problem at all. And after the festivities, the dark January awaits us. And what I don't like about that month is the fact that it's too dark for serious photography tours. The days are just way too short for that. But the low light conditions, they can, however, from time to time, provide us with something that is totally different. But we need to have luck on our side to capture this phenomena that appears occasionally in December and January. And it's actually harder to capture this than in Northern Lights. But it's a little bonus feature. Not a sure thing, but we can be sure that the ski resorts have all opened by then. And I always look forward to the last week of January. The days will be getting longer fast. The day tours will become day tours again, and the winter will look as good as it can look, unless you're on the south coast, of course, where there is likely no snow. And then comes March, springtime in Europe, but not around here. And in my opinion, fresh snow revealing the topography is way more interesting than the yellow dead ground after the winter, before the summer takes over. And March is a pure winter month. Like in 2026, it was an excellent filming month, or after the sun got high enough to light up my subjects. And as we approach April, we get what I call the yellow season, which is in fact the only season that I don't recommend unless spring is your thing. And April is often a month of instability, high hopes, and broken promises. So by this time of year, you can still expect just about anything. May can be a wonderful month, but it can also be totally unusable, as for nature sightseeing. But if I would be here in May, I would bet on the south rather than the north or elsewhere. So I never plan any serious trips until June, when the colors of want start to appear. And the question whether May is a good time to visit has of course to do with the purpose of your trip, and I can only tell you what to expect or not. And my general message is to get ready for just about anything. The Icelandic weather-beaten mentality loves to mock extremely organized tourists who plan to be at this certain waterfall at a predetermined time, no matter what, to get a dream selfie looking like a postcard. But we know better. The Icelandic climate is a bit wild, and we have to be a bit wild to go after the best of it. And this is especially true for those who are in serious photography. Some attractions look great during overcast or rain, while others are hopeless unless it's sunny. So do your research and plan accordingly. And for me, to visit an ugly village when the weather is even uglier is a great combination of elements for something unforgettable, regardless of the weather. And I hope that this video helped you to build realistic expectations, because that's what my channel is about. Iceland beyond the postcards. Just me saying what I think with a license to be brutally honest. So feel free to subscribe. It's more to come. And with that, I'm sending you best regards from my unpredictable home country, Iceland.